What's your opinions on aliens?
I saw a UFO.
I know.
I put it on my Instagram story.
And
I was the first person that I called you after that because I knew you were super into aliens. Yeah, so the story behind that is, it's like a movie, man. Okay, so I was with Caleb Maddox and Ryan O'Donnell, and we were at their friend's place in
Scottsdale.
In Scottsdale. It was on Camelback, right? So there's a popular mountain here called Camelback Mountain. Everyone comes and hikes it when they visit Arizona. And the house that we were at was on Camelback Mountain, or like a little bit on the lower end of it.
Yeah.
And we're in the backyard, just chilling, talking, right? And the night before, that morning, I woke up to my Instagram and I was following a guy named Artemis Doggin. He's a super, pretty well-known bodybuilder, has his own clothing line, Golden Aesthetics. And I've been following him for a while. And he posted the night before on his story him seeing a UFO and like documenting it. And it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
That same night in California, Logan Paul vlogged and put on his Instagram story a UFO. So the same night, the night before you saw it.
Yeah.
Which is why it stood out to me, because when you saw it on your story, I was like, yo, Logan Paul saw the same thing in California the night before.
So the one that Logan Paul saw was the same one that Artemis Doggin was filming when he was on the beach. And so anyways, fast forward to later that night. I'm with Ryan O'Donnell and Caleb Maddox, and we're in the house and we're just in the backyard chilling. It's starting to turn nighttime now.
I'm going to put the video up as you're describing it too.
And then I bring it up to him. I say, dude, did you guys check my Instagram story out? And they're like, what? I was like, dude, this guy I follow, Artemis Doggin, he saw a UFO last night. Like, here, come check it out. And they're like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. They're like, shut the fuck up. You're bullshitting. Like, it's total bullshit, whatever, right? We get done talking about it. I don't know how, but we all start looking up to the sky. And then there it is, dude. In the middle of the sky. This bright disc-shaped thing that is way brighter than a star, way brighter than an airplane, bigger than both of those, is just there. And then we're like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, whoa, they're freaking out. I'm like, dude, I couldn't have planned this any better, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it makes this quick leap, like,
fuck.
Never seen anything like that before in my entire life, dude. Never seen anything before like that in my entire life. And I'm so glad. Jennifer, my girlfriend out there, right there, dude, she was with me the whole time. And they're all there. And they're like, dude, what the fuck? They start freaking out. I'm like, holy shit. And then I start filming it. That's when I put the Instagram story up. And I start zooming in on my camera to get as close as possible to see this thing. And it's the disc shape, bro.
Yeah.
The disc shape, exactly like Artemis Doggin had on his Instagram story. And it was just rotating. And then it starts moving again, faster than anything I've ever seen. And okay, and then this is the craziest part. We're all freaking out. There's about 10 of us in the backyard freaking out. And then one kid runs in to get his phone because he said, I got a star tracker on an app on my phone. I've been using it. He comes out with this star tracker app on his phone and he's trying to find what star it is. He's like, oh, let's see if it's a star. Let's see if it's real or if it's bullshit. And he has this GPS located to where we are, and he's looking at the direction, and there's stars around it, which we can see, but where it was, there was no star on the star tracker. So it wasn't a star, and it wasn't, and there was planes flying by under it and above it, like blinking the red. You can see, it's a plane because it blinks or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And this thing was just staying right there, bigger. And it was just like, dude, this isn't a plane. This isn't a star. This is something that I've never seen before. And the funniest part about it all, dude, is that 10 minutes after we start freaking out about it, like maybe 30 minutes later, we're back to talking about anything like nothing even happened, dude. Like, that's how short our attention span is, Imagine if that happened 50 years ago. Like, people would be talking about that for years. That's all they would talk about.
Yeah.
Now, we just, went to go back to talk about whatever.
Yeah. Well, so here's what's crazy about that.
So to answer your question about aliens, do I believe in aliens? I don't not believe in aliens, because is it very possible that eventually we're going to evolve into a species that our heads get so big, like aliens are shaped, and our bodies we don't need to work out. We're so smart, dude, that we can just control everything we can communicate with our mind eventually. Elon Musk has that chip coming out.
Yeah. I do want to come back to this because it deserves a full discussion.
Okay.
I do want to add something though about the UFO before we move on.
Go ahead.
All right. So here's what stood out to me, because I'm super deep in the rabbit hole on this shit. And as soon as I saw that video, I realized this is something different. This is not a fucking explain. It's not a fucking flare.
Yeah, and it happened to me. Remember?
And it happened to you.
Yes.
Here's what's crazy, because we were describing the alien stuff to you. Me and Clark talk about it a lot, and
Yeah.
you always seem like the one who's like, I don't know, whatever.
I'm a more reasonable. I'm like, it could be true, but it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not all in, you know.
And you're the motherfucker who saw the thing.
And I saw it too,
Yeah.
and that's why I was like, wow, dude, I'm open. Like I was always open to it.
So
for
I have
sure.
a question for you. When you were recording the video,
Yeah.
on video, it looked like the light got smaller,
Yeah.
right? Was that you zooming out?
So what I can honestly say we think happened, because we tried it again. So I was fully zoomed in like this on my phone, holding
Yeah.
the phone up to it, and they were all around me, like 10 people around behind me watching the video. And all of a sudden, the UFO or whatever it was zoomed in really quick like that, like almost like it jumped in the camera and then back
Yeah.
out, and then it got really small.
And that was not your finger sliding
Didn't
up.
touch
Okay.
it. In the video, I said, yo, I didn't touch anything. And they all saw me. They're like, dude,
Yeah.
what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? And I was like, I didn't touch anything, dude. You
Okay.
guys saw that. I didn't touch
So
anything.
I screen recorded your Instagram story. So I just want to point it out now, because the reason why I asked that is because if you slow it down frame by frame, and you're saying I didn't move the camera, and
Or I didn't zoom in at
and I
all.
wanted you to specify you didn't zoom, because what's interesting about this is when you play it, I'm gonna try to see if I can bring it up. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'll show the camera
Yeah.
in post. So you got concentric circles that look like they're lit up.
Yeah.
So here's what's cool about that. If you think, oh, that's just a blob because he's zoomed in, if you're zooming in and you see a blob of light, you lose resolution. And resolution by definition is the ability to differentiate two different points. Okay, so I know this because I have a biology degree, and you have to learn about that stuff when you're looking through microscopes at single-celled organisms. Okay. You can resolve that there are two multiple concentric circles in this blob of light. So it's not like he lost resolution when he zoomed in. So you zoom in, and here's where you're saying, I'm not moving the camera. It gets smaller in size. It shrinks down, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
So it shrinks physically, and you didn't move the camera. And you're
No,
saying, I
dude,
didn't move
even
the camera.
watching it back right now, it's still freaking surreal.
Here's what's get crazier. It comes back
Yeah.
to shape, and it moves down, and then it changes shape. It transforms, and it does it 3 times. It goes into that little seashell shape,
Oh wow.
and each transformation only lasts 1 frame.
Jesus.
It does it again, right?
I didn't even notice that when I watched it.
Yeah. So it transforms, bro. Let me see. I got the screenshots of the actual transformations right there.
Holy shit. Whoa.
Yeah, and that's the other shape.
Damn, dude. And the crazy part about all this is that I remember when you and I talked about the Joe Rogan podcast where he was talking to Bob Lazar, and then the general dude, the pilot or whatever, and they were talking about the same like circle disc shape thing in the sky, and that's exactly what they were describing in this video. I just keep thinking of that.
Yeah.
It's like I just saw it.
So I'm curious, like, so you think it was like a flying saucer?
All I can see, okay, so the best way I can describe it in the sky without the camera, without my zoomed in with my phone, was this. Imagine this light that we're using for the podcast. It was like that far off in the distance, obviously in the sky, but it was so bright, dude, just so bright that you couldn't tell what it was. It was just like this light, as almost like, imagine like someone behind it, like just like scanning or something like that.
Yeah.
Just this bright light that you couldn't even see what it was. But then when we zoomed in, it looked like that flying saucer shape. Well, not flying saucer. It was like disc shape, right?
Yeah.
And
As if the disc was like straight up.
yes, exactly like
Which
this.
makes me think it's like if you expand that into 3D, it could be like a sphere. I thought it was like a sphere. Of some
Yeah,
sort.
because when you think about aliens, you think about the flying saucer. You think about the spaceship where they're in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
But this thing looked like it was turned on its side, and it was just like a disc, kind of like if
And it looked like it was spinning.
spinning. Like if you're looking at me on the camera, it's spinning like this. And so, what if the spaceships or the flying saucers that we thought were the alien ships are actually now this disc thing
Yeah.
all this whole time, right? And if you, I don't know, man, it's just crazy.
So the crazy part about the spinning is like so the Nazis were working on like fucking weird propulsion and stuff, and this is all known. And part of that is like Operation Paperclip, where the Nazis were brought in by the U.S. government to be our scientist. We brought in the top scientists to help us out with NASA. Werner von Braun, he's like a super Nazi, and he was like the face of NASA, okay? He got us to the moon. So around this time, we look back at some of their propulsion shit that they were playing around with, and a lot of it has to do with spinning, right? So what they were doing is they were using torsion physics. They were spinning heavy liquid metals. So imagine mercury. They're spinning liquid mercury along with other stuff around like an electrode. So it's generating electric current while it's spinning, right? So just to think, what's the evolution of that? That's 80 years ago.
Yeah.
Now we got spinning discs in the sky, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, yeah, man. So to bring it all back, like I am open to everything and anything at this point, dude, because what I saw was something that I always remember. And I still like, imagine me, right, trying to explain this to someone, like, even like when I'm explaining it to you guys, it's like, I wish you could just be where I was in me and like see what I saw that night to realize that this was crazy, dude.
Na 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 na.